Okay, and
We're live.
we're live.
Good evening, everybody. It's the Faika Midweek Show. I'm your host, Carl. With me, your lovely host, Naki. Good evening, Naki.
Good evening.
Our special guest that we're going to come visit and get a whole bunch of food from in the very near future. Go ahead, Naki.
So we have Fusi Taaga. She is the owner of Tokemoana Foods and co-owner of Royal Kava Bar in Salt Lake City. She's married to Tommy, and together they have 4 kids. They're in East Palo Alto. I don't want to give too much away because we're trying to learn everything about you here on the show. So thank you so much for being on our midweek Faika, even though it's Tuesday, but we heard about you. Well, of course, I follow you on social media, everywhere on social media, and your food looks amazing. And then I've had people just sending, because people are always sending me emails saying, oh, you got to talk to this person, you got to talk to that person. And I've gotten like 3 or 4 people say, you have to get a hold of Tokemoana Food and talk to them and how they started. And of course, I stalk your page. And so the food looks so good. And we mean to make it down to you guys. So Fusi, tell us everything and anything you want to tell us about. And then start from the beginning of how you wanted to start Tokemoana Foods and how it came about. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Okay. I'm not really good at talking about myself, so
I know it's kind of hard, right?
So yeah, as you mentioned, I'm married to Tommy. He's from San Francisco, Samoan. I'm Tongan. My parents moved to the US in the early or mid 70s to Utah. My dad came through rugby. We lived out there for a while, moved to East Palo Alto in like the late 80s when it was murder capital. Kind of crazy transition going from like Utah to that.
Right.
Anyways, grew up here, went to school in EPA, went to a private high school in Hillsboro called Crystal Springs. Went from there to Loyola Marymount for undergrad. Started grad school there and then transferred to UC Berkeley, where I got my MBA at Cal. And then just kind of started in the corporate world, worked a little bit there, got some pretty good connections through friends. One of the things that they teach you in business school is that the most important thing is networking. And so definitely true. And then I started working in a lot of startup companies and found that I really, really loved it. Like really loved helping them build from the ground up. So it was like, I was literally doing everything from administrative work to all of their bookkeeping, to marketing, to, you know, the actual, like whatever the product is that we were selling, and just really, really grew a love for it. And then eventually I worked for a psychiatry company or practice, sorry. Ended up being a co-owner of that for a little bit. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. And then decided to just kind of branch off and do my own thing. I started a caregiving agency, did that for probably 2 or 3 years and really, really liked it. A lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. And then what happened was my dad had retired from working here in the US and he moved back to Tonga,
Oh, wow.
Tonga. And when he went there, his family has a lot of land. He went there to go and build his house. You know, a lot of people that come here, like that's their dream, is to one day retire, build their house back home, live there, go back and forth. So he was able to do that. And then while he was doing that, because it took him like a year, he started growing crops. And it went from like, you know, one little thing, and then he would send us food here of like talo, taro, galo, ufi, just different things. And then it went from like a little bit to like one container once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. And what would happen is he would send it here and spend all this time, you know, cultivating his crops, uprooting everything. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then he would ship the containers here, pay to ship it here, and then just give everything away to his family and to friends and stuff. And the first few times I was like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
And then when he started doing it regularly, I was like, no.
That's a lot of money, right?
Yeah. I was like, we're not going to do this. That's just the type of person he is. He's always been like that. You know, a lot of our people are. That's just how they are. And so I basically closed my caregiving agency, which was doing really well, to now focus on this. And it just kind of, for our whole family, just kind of became this thing that we all got into and really loved because of my dad and just seeing all of the hard work. And so I decided to take that and turn it into a business. First, you know, importing all his crops and then actually hiring help for him back at home and helping him like implement systems and things like that there. Building relationships with shippers and brokers and warehouses and stuff out here. Like I really had to learn that whole industry from top to bottom.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a lot of work. And to be honest, I didn't know how much work it was. And, you know, I was just like, oh, it's just importing food. And then it gets here and you sell it. Like it can't be that hard. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I learned a lot of stuff. There's, you know, there's USDA, there's FDA, there's, you know, down to like the packaging. You have to package things a certain way. If you want to sell it retail, you have to list any ingredient. You have to, another requirement, you have to list cooking instructions. You have to know the shelf life for your products. And I mean, there are a lot of companies who do this from like other countries, from like Central America, South America, even Fiji. But it's not like I can pick up the phone and be like, hey guys, what's the shelf life for like frozen taro?
Right.
You know, or like how many calories, or, you know, there was just so much work, and, you know, down to like the UPC code on your packaging, you know, like the little barcodes.
Yeah.
So there's like a federal agency that's in charge of just that. Like,
wow.
I didn't know that either. Yeah. So it was a lot of work.
So you,
so anyway, sorry, go ahead.
You had talked about your real quick, because there's some people that probably don't know. You've gone through a master's program, your MBA. What does MBA stand for?
Master's in Business Administration.
From a really good school. Real quick, do you have this higher education run in your family, or is that something that you kind of took and run? Like, how does one decide, I'm going to get an MBA from Berkeley? did you have somebody in your family that you saw do that, or were you kind of the pioneer there?
You know, I was really lucky. I've been very blessed. Um, as a child, I've always, like, you know, from forever, I've just kind of been really proactive, and like I've always tried to do things on my own. Um, you know, I have an older sister, and she went to college. She stayed here local. But I mean, everything from filling out applications to finding my own financial aid, all of that I kind of did on my own. And then I kind of spoke about networking earlier, and I think this is something that I kind of saw early. Um, the private school that I went to, I just kind of like watched everyone around me, um, you know, saw how they did things, saw how they lived, um, and just like when you're like, okay, I want to have that stuff one day. One day when I have kids, I want to have that stuff. You just kind of look at that and look at where I come from and what I've been around, and I'm like, it doesn't match up.
Yeah.
You know,
Are you the
so
first? Are you and your sister? Are you and your sister the first to go to college, or has it always been instilled in your? You know what I mean? Like you guys are the
it's
first to go to
definitely
college.
something that my dad. It's definitely something that my dad has always pushed for all of us. I come from a big family. There are 8 of us, and I'm
Wow.
like in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah, and so education in school has always been like really big. Um, but I am the first one that went to college and graduated and went to grad school. Um,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like to even think of that, right? I think it's in our nature that we have people from the islands, our families send us stuff all the time. And your dad is sending pallets and cargo, you know? And so
Yeah.
at some point, I get it. You're going to lose money, right? And to where there's going to get a point to where your dad's going to stop. So
Yeah.
it's awesome that you guys thought of, okay, let's pay for dad to ship this stuff over. And then you think, oh, we're just gonna sell it. And then you have all these codes. And how did you find out, like, you need a barcode, you need to know the calories, you need to know the shelf life, like where did you find that out?
Um, just my own research.
Wow. Wow.
I spent many hours, lots of sleepless nights, just doing research, lots of phone calls to different agencies, a lot of reading difficult, complicated text on all these, you know, federal agency websites and stuff, and
Crazy,
just trying
right?
to figure it all out. Yeah. And then it's not until, you know, way down the line when I kind of have all of those things in place, and then I make friends in the industry, and then they start telling me like, oh yeah, this, you know, all you have to do is do this. And I'm just like, gosh, if I had just known that 6 months ago.
Oh, right. They could have helped you. I just want to shout out some people that are shouting you out. Jericho Toilolo is saying, hey,
Oh,
Fusi, keep up the great work. Stay prayed up
thank
and focused.
you.
Christine Mawia, hi, Fusi. Helen Verna is shouting you out. And let's see, Carol Nemia is Fusi
Oh,
and all
hi,
hearts.
Queen.
Let's see here. Joe Sio Tweet Teleleapanga. Whew. Usos Ravinella, Malo Lesuefua, and then Nauvai and Soane
Yeah.
Civello. So, I mean, there's tons and
Hi,
tons and
bye.
tons and tons of people on here. And Kalepi, I know we love Kalepi V. He's saying hi, Auntie Fusi, and tons of people. I think these are a lot of these people that I've watched Max seen. A lot of these people that I follow too have been they. I think it's from you that they posted your food and when you're selling your food. So I think that's how I say, and I keep saying, we're going to order from them. We're going to order from them.
To order from you.
Thank
And
you.
we're going to get into the food. We're trying to stave that off because that's kind of that's our dessert. We're going to be talking about your food. Real quick, so when you go through higher education, you get into the 4-year school, even the junior colleges, you start to see less Pacific Islanders, and then you get to a 4-year school, and then like Loyola is a prestigious school. UC Berkeley, obviously, UC Berkeley is an elite level educational institution. Do you did you notice that as you went further on in education that you saw less and less Pacific Islanders?
Definitely. Think well, first of all, just in my high school, they told me that I was the first Pacific Islander to ever go there.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They had a few, like, they have summer programs and stuff, and they had a few people there, but like to actually attend the school, and they were so proud of it that they added me to all of their stats. So it would be like 30-something% Asian, 40-something% Caucasian, and then they would put like 0.0001% Pacific Islander.
Wow.
And then at LMU, I had a handful of other Pacific Islanders that I was there with. And then once I got to Cal, especially at the graduate level, the undergraduate level, there was actually a big group of Pacific Islanders there. And unfortunately, I was, kind of in my own world. I was working, I was going to school. I didn't really get to mingle with them. But there was a pretty big group of Pacific Islanders in undergrad at Berkeley.
Good.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard being a woman in this business? Was it hard? Do you think it's harder for you, or would it have been easier? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're a woman and a woman of color, did you find it harder, or?
I don't really have anything to compare it against, so
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The way that I just approached it is the way I approach everything. Like, I don't
Right.
care what the barriers are. I don't care about anything. If I want it, I'm gonna get it.
Get it. Right.
And that's just kind of what I did. But I have built a lot of friends in this industry, and there are very few women. So yeah, but I don't think it has made anything harder for me. As a matter of fact, it might make things easier for me. Just
And
because,
are you
like, for example, like all the warehouses. Sorry?
Are you preparing all the food, coming up with the recipes, or is it a family?
It's family. So our chefs. And I mean, I think we've been doing this for a few years. We started in Utah a little over 3 years ago doing the cooked food. And it's actually my youngest brother and his wife. They're the ones that pretty much have come up with all the recipes. They do like 90% of the cooking. All the rest of us, we're just kind of their assistants. We prep for them. We help like with everything else, but they do most of the cooking. And it's pretty amazing. They've got like a magic in the kitchen.
Right.
A lot of our clientele is a lot of like older Pacific Islanders, and to have them like really love the food and compliment it, to me says a lot. And it's such a, it makes like all of the work and hard days and everything worth it. Yeah.
Was it always by design that he and his wife were going to be the ones cooking, or did it just develop that way that they had a passion for it and it ended up there? But so was it the design or was it the plant?
No, it just happened. Two of my brothers actually have been in the restaurant industry for quite a while. And so my older brother, he's been, GM for a bunch of like large chains like Cheesecake Factory, Olive Garden,
Oh, wow.
a lot of big restaurants. So he's got a lot of experience with, just everything. Managing the restaurant, just everything. There's so much work. And then there were no plans to do any cooked food or have a restaurant. It was just the frozen food import. And what happened was we decided when we opened our store in Utah, we decided to cook the food. If you get taro from Tonga,
Oh, did she freeze up?
I think she.
Oh, there you go.
Are you back with us, Fusi?
doing was cooking the food to showcase it, and it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, I can attest. I deal with regulation in my 9 to 5, and if you're stuck reading regulation to learn how you can run your business and when you can do things and how you have to phrase things, that's some dry reading. Like that's some real dry reading. So props to you for sticking through that to get the information because I've read OSHA code. I've read
Oh, right.
Oxley code. That is like the worst reading. So maybe you need an MBA to stick with that because that's tough. Has that always been your way? Like it seems like you make great connections. You talk that you made connections early on, kind of in your academic, in higher education, where you saw, I kind of need to get information from this person. This person can help me, and it seems to be you parlay that into your entrepreneurial side with the business. Has that been a strength of yours, your whole journey, building connections?
Oh, is she frozen?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I think as we'll wait for her to come back, but I think that's what a great job to have is make people happy. Like we all know how much food means in the Pacific Islander culture, and to make people happy through food, that's got to be a great profession. Are you with us, Fusi? And it looks like they have experience in the family. So I mean, I'm kind of interested to see if that played into the business plan or if it was you know, just happened to be that way, like the person that cooks. Looks like she's dropped out and coming back in.
Okay.
You know,
I'm back. Sorry.
that's
No, you're fine.
we were kind of talking about. I was talking about how dry regulation reading can be. It's just incredibly tedious. I've read OSHA code and those kind of things, and it's like you read it and you don't really know exactly. At least I don't. I got to read it 3 or 4 times to make sure I get the right detail of it. But I was talking about connections, and you had talked about making good connections early on in your higher education, in your academic career, seeing who could help you, seeing who had information, those kind of things. And then you had mentioned it again in kind of talking about the restaurant business. Has making connections been a strength of yours your whole life, or is it something that you found as you got into college?
I would say it's something that a strength I've had my whole life. I think a big part of it is just how you communicate with people and the ability to communicate with people. I think what I've seen in our culture and with a lot of our people, just because of the way that we grow up and stuff, communicating is hard.
Right.
Being able to talk to people is hard. One of the things that I try and push, like really push with my team, is for us to communicate openly and honestly and respectfully, which means, it's like if,
Right.
for example, my brother who I mentioned is our main, our main chef, our cook. And if one day his cooking is kind of off, like tell him,
Right.
don't text me and tell me like, hey, this didn't take, or, whatever, or even like on his end, not that I'm just using this as a general example, but if someone were to kind of critique you or give you feedback, like you shouldn't take it to heart and, get upset. It's just like you need to be able to communicate. And I think I've just kind of been able to do that. And it's really important, not just in business, but in life, to build relationships with people. Yeah. Sorry, I think I got a little off topic.
Oh,
Oh,
hey,
no, you're fine. And it's, it's business, right? You have to not take it personal, just to
Yeah.
make the business successful.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think now is your husband
Yeah.
involved in the business too?
Yes, my poor husband who works 7 days a week. So he has his regular full-time job, and then the weekends for us is like when we're really, really busy.
Mhm.
And since he's off, he ends up working. And then he's the person that I bounce all of my ideas off of, and kind of with everyone else, it's kind of just like I'm the one that runs things. So I say something and everyone's like, okay, that's just what we're gonna do. And with
Yeah.
him, he's like, no.
You need someone to tell
He's
you
like,
no
that's
sometimes.
yeah, yep. So yeah, he plays a really big role.
do you think that that having a family business, I mean, at times it's going to bring you closer together, and at times it's going to put pressure on the family. How do you manage those moments? There's going to be times where it's like it's definitely bringing you close together. You're a team, you're a unit, you're overcoming, you're achieving. And then there's sometimes the husband-wife dynamic can be tough already, and then you put pressure of a business into it. I'm sure it can be tough as well. How do you manage those?
Um, for me, it all goes back to the communication thing.
Yeah.
That's just so important. It's like if something's not right, if you're upset about something, if something made you mad, or if you don't agree with something, if you don't communicate that, then no one's gonna know. If you do communicate it, then we can fix the issue and move on. I've been really, really lucky. My parents, one of the things that was so important to them is that my brothers and sisters and my siblings and I, um, that we stay close, that we always support each other. And if you guys were to see how we run the business, like it's kind of like they conditioned us for this. And we have been able to be successful because of the way that we were raised and the way that we grew up. Um, there are so many there's so many parts to the business, and it's like everyone just like shows up, everyone has a job. We're able to, like, we're here in the peninsula, we're able to be in Utah, we're able to, like, the day on the weekends, we're able to deliver to Sacramento, to Modesto, to Tracy, to the East Bay, to like San Jose. A lot of restaurants are not able to do that because they don't have the manpower.
Right.
And we're able to do it because everyone just shows up, with their vehicles, and they're just like, okay, what's my route? Like, give me my delivery list. And then everyone loads up their stuff and they just go. And,
Right.
a lot of people have been wondering how we're able to do that. And how we're able to do a lot of things, because during the week, it's like we have a lot of, we, there's just so many things. There's like, we have the frozen food deliveries. We service some of the Pacific Islander restaurants here in the Bay Area, and so we deliver to them like weekly.
Wow.
And it's, you know, it's really a family affair.
That's awesome.
I can't wait anymore. I got to talk food. Sorry, Naki. So many questions. Is there any family recipes or any dishes that you had growing up, or is family basically? Is there anything that on the menu that you grew up on, or that your family is responsible for the recipe for?
Not so much. I mean, if you look at our menu, you'll see like all the normal poly dishes. We definitely do put like our own twist on everything that we cook. There is, so my sister-in-law, my youngest brother that I mentioned that does the cooking, his wife, her family has this amazing pulingi recipe.
Okay,
And
somebody is in the chats talking about the pulingi. Said, I'm convinced that the pulingi from Tokemoana has been kissed by a poly god. And that's Daniel Tanyelu is talking. I mean, there's a couple of people talking about pulingi, but I am definitely going to try your pulingi because that's all I'm hearing about.
Yeah, so it's my sister-in-law's grandmother's recipe, but I think she's taken it and just kind of perfected it and taken it to like whole new, or just giving it her own touch. And that's definitely like one of our biggest sellers. And I don't even know the recipe for that. So
is it made weekly, or do people order online? And like, you have a menu, but if they see something that's not online, is that what they order, it a special order? Or
yes. Yeah. So as far as the restaurant right now, we're only open on the weekends, and we've been doing a lot of catering during the week. But we also get people who, like today, we had someone who ordered like 8 gallons of mango otay.
Oh, wow.
So, we did that for them. We've had people order like 3 bunts of pulingi or a tray of pulingi, during the week or whenever. So we definitely can accommodate those things.
Oh, awesome.
Where are you located, or where are you located? And then how do people order if they're not able to get to you? We hear about all these delivery services in the Bay Area. Talk a little bit to the people that want to get some of your food. How do they do that?
Some people are asking, how do I order and support?
So our menu and everything that we offer is online. We have a website with everything on there, including our frozen food. And so usually what happens is we will post our menu for the weekend, and then there's a link and people click on the link and place their orders. And then like the day before, someone will be in touch with them. So what we do is we try and make it so that people from, let's say like San Francisco, we have different pickup locations, so that people don't have to drive all the way out here. There's one in South San Francisco, in Oakland, Newark, Tracy, sometimes in the South Bay, but and then one in East Palo Alto. We are opening an actual restaurant in Redwood City.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pretty excited because restaurants are starting to open for dining. So yeah, Redwood City, awesome. Everyone. By hopefully end of October.
What is
so actually, if you just go to www.tokemoanafoods.com, okay. And then right there, like at the front of the page, there's like a order now link or button, and you can click on that. and it takes you to the Square website where you can place your order.
Tokemoanafoods.com.
Yes.
And how did you come up with that name?
Tokemoana is actually my dad's name. And
Oh,
so
I love that.
I have a lot of plans for this company, and for me, it's a way of creating a legacy for him. So yeah, I imagine in like 100 years we'll still be here, and we'll be like a big food distribution company.
Well, that's one of our questions of where do you see this going in the future? So when you talk about food distribution, it's like this, but on a bigger scale. Do you see that delivering to restaurants as well as having your own retail end of it?
Yes. So we did the retail in Utah and the restaurant. And what happened was I kind of got tired of having to fly back and forth from here to Utah and leaving my kids and my family. And so I decided earlier, like in January, to move here to California. And just as we were opening things up, COVID hit. And so the location that we were using, we can't have customers come there. So that kind of changed things, but it was actually a blessing in disguise. During COVID, I've been able to do a lot of planning. But the plan is to distribute nationwide and to, I mean, of course, we're going to start smaller, but to have our product in like Walmarts and Costco's and Safeways and stuff like that, so that it's easier and more accessible and cheaper for everyone. And then the other part of that is that my dad is just my dad. He can only produce so much.
Right.
And so what we've been able to do for like the last 2 years is buy crops from other farmers in Tonga, which has been great. You know, we've been able to build relationships and like get really close to them and their families, and it really helps them too. And
Yeah,
so
it helps the economy there, right? So
yeah,
other farmers will probably try to help as well.
yeah. So that's the plan, is to help get their products, because if I'm not sure how it is in Samoa, but I know in Tonga, when we go there, there's so many people who are growing crops, and it's like it just kind of goes to waste.
Yeah.
You know, and they do it for their families and for their livelihood, but a lot of times they aren't able to sell it, or they have to sell it super cheap. So yeah.
But this way they can work with you to sell their product and probably help the, you know, economy there. That's what I'm thinking, is it's a great way to help, you know, Tonga sell products to you, to sell to the States. People are asking if there's any plans on franchising. Of course, you just spoke about trying to get it in the local supermarket because someone in Arizona is wanting your product. And so that is the plan. It looks, the food, like I said, it looks amazing. I'm going to order this week. So as soon as that weekend menu goes up, I'm going to order, and we'll probably pick up in Oakland. That seems
Okay.
to be
It'll be up this week or tonight.
Yeah, this that seems to be the closest to where I'm at right now. I'm in like Fairfield, Sassoon area. So we always tell people, let's support our Pacifica businesses, our Pacifica entrepreneurs. We want you to follow Tokemoana on all social media outlets. If you haven't done so, please do so. Other than the Foods on Weekend, we're looking forward to your restaurant opening up in October. And then we're going to end of October. So we'll definitely be popping in to see that. People are wishing you good luck.
Thank you.
Tokemoana catered my daughter's wedding 2 weekends ago, and they did an amazing job. So you're catering weddings too? That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
Ipu Afoa who says that.
Oh, I do have a question.
Oh,
Mhm.
Oh, you said the pulingi is your bestseller, but what's your favorite?
my favorite is definitely the pulingi. And I'm allergic to gluten, so I'm not supposed to eat it, but I
Ah.
can't stop eating it.
I'm going to try the pulingi. That's what I'm going to do this weekend is try your pulingi and
Well,
order food as soon as you schedule the menu. Is there anything else that we haven't asked you that you want to get out? Everybody's saying good luck and they're going to try your food this weekend. This weekend, as soon as the menu goes up, let's all order.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everyone, all Pacific Islanders who are doing business, any kind of business. I've seen so many businesses start, especially during COVID, and it's so amazing to see. And when we were in Utah, there are a bunch of Polynesian restaurants and bakeries and stores there. And when we went there, one of the things that was important for me was to kind of build like a network and a community, so that we can support each other. And the few restaurants that we became friends with that kind of embrace that, because we can be what is the word, very I can't find the word I'm looking for, but people think that if they start a business or something that we're competition, and to me I'm just like,
Oh,
we're not competition. We're, if
right.
anything, especially with this market and with Polynesian food and Polynesian goods, the more of us there are, the better.
Right.
And a lot of people, they can't see that yet, but it's like, how else are we going to make this food popular so that our market expands to like not just
Exactly.
Islanders, but to everyone else?
Right.
And it's like, look at taquerias. There's 500 in
A
every
million
city,
of them, right?
and they're all doing well.
Let's
And
have
they're,
a million Tokemoana stores. Let's have a million Pacifica restaurants so that it makes it normal, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we always say that sometimes our podcast is not for everybody, right? But there's
Mhm.
all kinds of, there's the Kava Bar, there's For the Culture, there's the Real Telltella. There's so many podcasts, and there's something for everybody. There's something for
Yeah.
everybody, and there's
Yeah.
room for everyone.
There's
Ricky
room for
Joseph,
everyone.
he's on here talking about your Sinaloa fries and your Hamo
Oh,
fries. So everybody's been talking about that, but I think there's room for everyone, and we're so happy and we're blessed to have met you, and congratulations on all your success. We're asking everyone to order. Go follow Tokemoana on all social media outlets. Fusi, thank you so much for your time.
thank you so much.
God bless your
Thank you,
journey.
guys.
And I'll be eating your food this weekend, girl. I'm gonna order.
Okay.
Especially that pulingi.
All right.
let us
Pulingi.
let us know when your grand opening is in Redwood City if we can make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, we'd love to have you there.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
We'd
Thank
love
you
All
for your
right.
time. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank
Thank you, Fusi,
you.
everybody. Go follow and order your food this week.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.